In 10 days, the Brooklyn Israeli Film Festival will mark its 12th year presenting new Israeli cinema. The 2016 films reveal diverse aspects of Israeli culture. They're examining prejudice and identity through a personal lens, exploring Israel's history through one of its greatest statesmen, and surveying the wide array of food traditions that make Israeli society so rich.
It all starts a week from this Thursday at Kane Street Synagogue in Cobble Hill. And to talk about the festival, we welcome back to BK Live the now former chair and one of the co-founders of the Brooklyn Israel Film Festival, Hedda Kafka.
Welcome, Hedda. Thank you for being here so much.
Thank you for having me.
I believe we have a trailer.
Yes.
From one of the films to watch right now, and then we'll come back to you right after. So
Right.
this is from A Borrowed Identity.
במה עובד אבא? יד.
אבא שלי עובד מחבל.
אבא עובד קטיף.
אבא עובד מחבל.
קטיף.
מחבל.
קטיף.
מחבל. אבא שלי מחבל. אבא שלך מחבל, ברוך הבא.
בראשית ברא אלוהים את השמיים ואת הארץ וחושך על בני תהום.
אני נעמי דרך אגב.
ואני יד.
יד? לא היית, כולם קוראים לך היית, למה אתה לא מתקן אותם, דביל?
אני יד מהתוכנית למעורבות חברתית. אתה נולדת ככה?
אתה נולדת ככה?
איך?
ערבי. זה מדבק?
אני אוהב אותך, תדע.
תגיד לי בערבית.
אני בחבק.
אני בכי בקקת.
نعمي يهودية
شوفكم ولد كيكة واحدة بعد فاهم؟
נעמילה, תגידי לי שאת לסבית, תגידי לי שיש לך סרטן, אבל שלא יבוא יום שתגידי לי שיש לך חבר ערבי. אני לא יכולה לשקר.
אתה רוצה שאני אטפל בו?
אף אחד לא צריך לדעת.
כל כך מצטער.
Okay,
Good one.
that was A Borrowed Identity. That's the first film in the festival.
Yes.
Hedda, we described it as just, I think, a love story, but it looked like a lot more than that.
Love
it's
has
very
many different
complex,
forms.
right.
This
Very
got
complex
layers like
film.
an onion, this one.
Yes, it does. Yes. It's a very complex issues. It's really about outsiders. Every character in this film is an outsider of one type or another. And it's about how these many different cultures really are together and what it means to have an identity in Israel, especially if you're an outsider. So it's a very complex place, and the film really tackles that in many ways.
So we know this year a lot of the films come from a literary place, that many of the films were previously books. How does that sort of inform the view of the festival this year?
Well, the books are really all about the many different kinds of cultures in Israel, that Israel is a very complex place, a very misunderstood place. Syed Kashua, who the first film is based on two books that he wrote, Dancing Arabs and Second Person Singular. And he is himself an Arab Israeli who tackles the issues of being an Arab in Israel and how difficult that is. But he shows both sides. Our perspective, we don't want to necessarily change perspective, but we want to expand perspective for audience members who watch our films. And the books that we're basing the films on all do that one way or another. The first film you just saw an excerpt from, and it deals with many of the issues. Yeah. The second night we're showing a film about Rabin, and it's 20 years since his death. Yeah. And there are quite a few books that are coming out about that. So there's a lot of interest about Rabin this year because of that. His, his agenda for a more balanced life politically and culturally in Israel, and his spoiled hopes and dreams. So there's a lot of interest. And the third night is about food, and it's a great book. Zahav is the most recent book that's gotten awards, a James Beard Award for cooking. Nice. But it's also about the many cultures that make up the foods, and how food can bring cultures together or divide them and keep them apart. So it's about the many foods in Israel that represent the many cultures in Israel and how all these foods come together in search of an Israeli cuisine.
I love that.
And all the books will be available, by the way, all 3 nights.
Oh, that's phenomenal.
I'm
that's
very
great.
excited about that, yeah.
That's really great.
Yeah.
So it's kind of both. It's a blend of the literary and the film, not just a film festival. Well, tell us about the festival itself, how it began. We're in our 12th year?
12th year, yeah. A few of us came together in 1994 because we were interested, as I said before, in not necessarily changing perspective, but expanding perspective about a country that we felt was very misunderstood and very complex. And we started watching films. We became a group, a cohesive group of 9 people, and we watched a different Israeli film every week for some 9 months, so we watched maybe 35 or 40 films.
Okay, can I jump in and ask you a question? And if you watch all these, I'm no Israeli film connoisseur. Whatever pops up on Netflix that looks interesting, I'll give it a go. But it seems like thematically, the first film that we saw, the Identity one, there's always seems to be an Israeli Arab falling in love with a Jewish kind of person. Tell me that there's more to the oeuvre than just every person. Every story is about Romeo and Juliet. What kind of other stories have emerged from this region?
Oh my goodness.
Or are they all about love that's forbidden and secret
Well,
and hidden?
love's a big
Isn't
word.
everything about
It's about
forbidden
love, what
love?
keeps love, what makes it hard for people to love each other. We've, I think we are interested in working with issues of otherness in general. So we've had films about generations after the Holocaust, and second and third generations of both Nazis and Jews coming together to meet each other
And fall in love?
Well, no, not necessarily fall in love, but get to know each other all over again.
Yeah.
So we've had films about somebody from a Jewish home or an Israeli home disappearing and ending up as a refugee in a Palestinian refugee camp and growing up as a Palestinian, and 3 generations later the relatives want to start getting to know each other all over again. So it's not about romance, but it's about relationship.
Gotcha.
Right, right. So how does this festival differ from other Jewish film festivals in New York? There's the New York Jewish Film Festival, the Brooklyn Jewish Film Festival. How are you guys different?
Only Israeli films.
Only.
Right, and taking place in Israel, the director is Israeli, about issues that are relevant to Israel, that touch upon our lives, touch upon everyone's lives, but are very good quality films made in Israel about that culture that we can relate to as Americans.
Very cool. So if you haven't gotten your birthright trip, you can at least get a little glimpse into Israeli culture, maybe. So tell us how we can come out and partake in this film festival.
Go to canestreet.org. And you'll be able to buy tickets that way. We're the only Israel Film Festival taking place in a synagogue. So if you go to Kane Street Synagogue website, you'll also find information about that. All other film festivals take place in cinemas and Y's, JCC's.
That's very unique.
But if you go to the website of Kane Street Synagogue, you'll also find information about this film festival.
And the dates again, Hedda?
January 21st, 23rd, and 24th.
All right, so don't delay. Book it now. Get on there. Don't wait. It'll sneak up.
Hope to see you all there.
Thank you so much. We'll see you for number 13. You'll be a teenager next time.